Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Sargel18. Episode 37 of Unchained. 1998, Sargel18 makes alien contact and the world changes forever. Thanks for tuning in tonight. This is going to be, I'm going to run through some of the news that's happening, the Revelation news, and then I'm going to go to contact and I'm going to explain, mainly because of the younger generation that are watching me. They have no idea who I am and what I've done because of the government shadowing me and wiping me out all over the internet for the last 30 years. Not all over, but enough. I'm surprised they let me do these videos. I really am. But they must need more information, so I'm giving it out. So I'm gonna show you contact, and I'm gonna talk about what led up to that fateful night when the doorway opened and revelation started. Now here's the revelation news. Satanist groups are rising up all over the country, and their new agenda is to destroy MAGA and its people. Okay. Now, interesting information about satanic groups. Since 2021, when Biden took office, the amount of Satanist groups and individuals has doubled in the United States. Gee, I wonder why. I told you, this is all Lucifer's plan. They have doubled. I'm surprised there's any. As far as my reality goes, I don't know. You can't be all there if you're voting for Lucifer. There's something wrong with you. All right. Now, number 2. It is not just humans that are going through revelation, but the planet also. Here's a neat one that's happening right now. In Ezekiel 47, 8-12, fresh water will flow from the Temple Mount to the Dead Sea and transform it from toxic water to fresh water. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know what the Dead Sea is, so I'll just give you a quick recap. It's over there in Israel, and it's more than 30% salt, the water. So nothing lives there, nothing grows there. And people go there swimming all the time because they believe it'll help them. But if you dive in the water of the Dead Sea, you don't sink. You float on top of the water. That's how dense, that's how much salt, deadly salt, is in that to life. You know, like plant life and fish and shit like that. They can't live in that. And you can't sink in it. So you guys can look that up that didn't know about the Red Sea on Google, and you'll see it there. Now, this is now happening. The 30% heavy salt water of the Dead Sea is turning fresh and producing life for the first time. This event goes to the top of the God created, and what God wants, God gets. Plus, the Dead Sea is shrinking at the same time. This is all revelation. This is all revelation. This is all predicted in the Bible or in Revelation script. Now, on to make sure you don't go to any state parks or deep woods or watershed property, because you'll probably get eaten by one of the multi-dimensional creatures that they've messed with from the vortex. The latest hiker goes missing in Yellowstone. About a month ago, a 22-year-old hiker who knows what he's doing when it comes to hiking let everybody know where he'd be picked up, in a couple of days, and he never shows. Gone. Giant search is ongoing as we speak. They have found nothing. Remember, that's just one. There's many more you don't hear about. These creatures are taking you, and they're doing all kinds of shit to you, and eating you, and killing you, and kidnapping you. And stay away from the state parks right now. Now, demonic possession has been on the rise since the doorway opened in 1998 in the United States. It's now spiked since the election and is going up. Now, there's just a note. there are 175 Catholic priests who are exorcists in the United States right now. Basically 3 per state. The Vatican has its hands full. The ones that are on God's side in the Vatican, they need as many exorcists as possible because the whole world is getting possessed. And I worked with the Vatican from 2000 to 2002 directly. The cardinal that became Pope. So they know what's going on. Now, hold on. This is a World War III alert. Biden just gave the okay to Ukraine to use anti-personnel mines against Russian troops. Just like I predicted and Devron said, he's trying to jumpstart World War III before he goes. It's Luciferian all the way, and he's not hiding it. So you guys should be up on this stuff. Remember, I told you, prepare. And I believe the last one, maybe the last one. All right, the far left is flipping out, and they don't care if you see it. They don't care that all of America knows what they're doing. They're making cities like Los Angeles sanctuary for illegals and criminals and preparing to fight Trump and the United States government from doing anything about it. Yeah, right. Watch how fast they back down. Just like those MSNBC broadcasters, news people, the guy and the girl, and they said the most horrible things about Trump for the last 8 years. After what happened, they're trying to save their jobs because these guys make a couple million a year. They're down there in Mar-a-Lago and they're meeting with them and trying to find a basic way forward because they've realized. Now the far left in Pennsylvania is going to count the illegal ballots, and they said they don't give a shit if you know it or not. WTF? Well, at least most of the possessed are still doing their evil thing and putting it right in our faces. Remember, I have said this for 30 years. The average demon has no brain. It can't think or adjust its actions. It runs on instinct, and that is to possess, influence, and do harm. So they're just continuing to do it. All these people that are doing this, possessed or majorly influenced by a demon. Now we're going to get to contact. And there's no notes needed for contact for me to talk to you about it and show you the evidence, because it's one of those things that if it happens to you, it's burned into your brain. No. Okay, I guess that's Alexa has something to say. Hey, Alexa, stop. There you go. Love technology, man. Love it. Okay, now. I'm going to fill you in a little bit on the backstory of contact. And then we're going to get to the evidence, and I'll show you and all. Devron in 1997 told me to, take my camcorder or camera anywhere in the sky, and I can shoot atypical UFOs at will, and I did. That got me on national television on Strange Universe. So, in Strange Universe, when I channeled Devron, whose all his predictions came true on television, except that the ones they took out about Mother Teresa. But I go ahead and I say, in 4 months, I'm going to show the world who's flying in these odd UFOs, the aliens. Which is like putting for a career individual in the world of predictions and metaphysics and UFOs and all that. That's a career ender. If it doesn't happen, you're gone. Nobody wants to talk to you. Because I did it on national television. Millions and millions of people saw me do it. Well, 4.5 months later, bam, February 10th, 1998, contact happens. Now, what happened on contact is I've always been relying on Devron constantly for information, clues, and then I have to see the clues that they leave me and then decide what that means. So here it is, um, February 8th, 1998, and a guy I was working with just bought a new digital camera. It's, by nowadays standards, it's just a piece of shit. It just took basic, like, pictures, digital pictures of the time. But he was all happy with it and showing it off and all that. And I was like, yeah, fantastic. It'll save us on film and having to have it, what did they used to do to film? You know, to make it into a picture. Look at that. I forgot. It's been so long. And make it into a picture for you so you can see what you got. And we're talking for a couple hours in my den, which was the basement of that house. And he said he had to go. It was Sunday night, I believe. He had to go. Yeah, it was Sunday night. He had to go, and he had to go to work the next day. So I said, all right, next weekend we'll go, and we'll take, you know, on schedule, we'll take this camera with the other cameras and my VX1000 digital camcorder, Sony, and we'll see what we can get. So he's gone. I'm down there for about another hour. I come up the stairs, and the kitchen's right there. And I open the door, and I look at the counter, because you can see the counter when you open the door. And there's the camera, just sitting by itself on the counter. And I looked and said, oh shit, that's a sign. They want me to go. Something's going to happen. So I called the guy up, and I said, hey, where's your camera? And he's like, it's right here. I said, would you take a look for me? And he looked, and the camera wasn't there. And he has no idea how it got out of the pouch and was placed on the counter for me to see. This is all Devron, of course. This individual wasn't too much an academic, so it was very easy to make him do what they needed him to do. And then I had to see it and then decide this is what it means. So I said, we'll go the next night, Monday. Monday night came. He couldn't go. I'm like, all right, then we have to do it tomorrow. We have to. Tomorrow comes Tuesday, February 10th, 1998. He can't go again. I said, well, sorry, I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to go. Something's going to happen. So I piled everything on me. My Sony VX1000 camcorder, tripod, million candle power light, that camera that he left, and anything else that I needed, that I thought I might need if something goes down, right? So I pile everything into the car, and it's roughly around, it took me a half hour to get there, I guess around 8:45, 9 o'clock. It takes me about a half hour from where I lived in Totowa to get to the Vortex. And so I get there, and I pile all my stuff on the backpack, and it's heavy. It's like 40 pounds, you know, and I have that camera and a coffee and a fruit pie or something. This was I always picked up at the 7-Eleven before I went. And I start, to get to there, as I said, my parents bought the house right across from it. It was given to them, which was another whole setup for me to get there. So I parked my car, I walked across the street and down to where these giant rocks that block any way to get in to that path. You know, it's just giant rocks. They didn't want people going down there with their four-wheel drives and all that. And it's flat, and then it goes, you know, you see tall grass and rocks on either side, and you're going towards the bridge. So I walked through the big rocks, and I'm focused on what I got to do. A little paranoid, because I don't know what's coming. And all of a sudden, I see to my left, in the weeds, a black 4x4, which at the time, there weren't a lot like that. It was a big one. And it had no license plate. And I was just like, wow, that's a weird place to leave your car. So I continue to make the turn, and the car door opens, and this tall, thin, blonde dude with short hair comes walking out and yells to me, "Can I go with you?" And I'm like, I was in such a mood, and I'm a 6-junction Scorpio, so when I want to be a jerk off, I can. And I was like, no, like that. And I just, like, no. I should have paid more attention to him. But okay, it all works out, and you'll see how it all works out. And I I just kept walking. I picked up my little brisker in my pace, but yeah, I just kept walking, and I got to the bridge. So that's as far as I was going that night. I was only going to the bridge. I'm carrying 40 pounds of camera equipment and tripods and shit on my back, but I want to see what's going to happen. So I just had an odd feeling about this dude. It just didn't seem right. Now, remember, it was another almost an hour before I had contact. So I didn't know contact was going to happen that night. I just knew that something was going to happen that night. Because the camera was the clue that this dude had left. And so I get down to the bridge and about to take my stuff off. And I say, you know what? Let me walk past those rocks where you see my symbol, S18. You see in a lot of the pictures of demons and shit. I spray painted it on the rock, and I went past that where you couldn't see anymore from the bridge area, and I went behind a tree and I looked, and sure enough, the dude was following me. He was just getting to the underside of the bridge when I was past that and on the trail. So I said, I don't know, what the fuck is this? I don't have time for this shit. So I just turned around and just walked. And when I walked, I went down and I made a left down into the valley, small valley, where contact happened, and you see 90% of all my evidence pictures taken. And I took my backpack off and I put it down, and I turned around for a second just to, look around. Now the moon was behind me. Up at about a 45-degree angle, and it was like a quarter moon or a half moon or something, but it was enough, a little bit of light. And after you're out in the dark woods, if you've ever done it, your eyes adjust. So I turn around and I look, and there standing in front of me is an invisible being. I could see right through him. But I also could see his silhouette because the moon was shining off him over my shoulder. He looked like the Predator movies, the original Predator movies where the Predator disappears, the cloaking device, you could see right through him. That's exactly what it looked like. There was no difference. So I looked and I go, hello. And he moves a little bit to my right. And I looked and I said, I put my hand out. I said, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to feel what you feel like. And that's when he dropped the cloak. And he's standing there, a 5-foot-high silver scaled lizard who told me he was part of the Endorian lizards, the good lizards that are here to help in what's coming up from the multiverse. So I took a step forward and tried to touch him again, and when I did, my head went through the doorway. And I looked, and it was all light out, and it was a beautiful crystal city off in the distance with you could tell all people or beings walking around, like you would look at New York City at 12 in the afternoon. Yeah, everybody's moving around. And I pulled my head back out, and it was night, and I looked around, and I put my head back in. Same thing. So at that point, I turned away from the being because I was pretty much in shock at that point. And I went over and I assembled the tripod and the VX1000 camcorder. It wasn't night vision. They didn't have that then, but it was television quality. It was $5,000 camcorder that was gifted to me by somebody from Virginia, which was fantastic. But, and I set it up and I took a Marlboro light. Remember the Marlboro cigarettes used to give you a free light if you saved? The thing was red with a dome. And I took that light and I put it on and I went out about 20-25 feet and I put it right in the path and then went back to the camcorder so I could have the bottom of the camcorder right where that light is. So I know I'm getting the whole scene because you can't really see. And then I started asking, where are you again? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I'm looking around with this camera and I'm taking some pictures. And then I saw him right in front of me and I took the picture. And my camcorder, it didn't come out in my camera. In that camera, the picture did not come out. Only some rudimentary first-time orbs, which I had to name orbs the next day because everybody kept asking me what they were all about. And it recorded everything in high speed. Now, this thing was so fast. It was incredible to stand there and look at it in third dimension. As you see me, you're going to see I'm taking the picture with that camera, but it did not pick it up. And he's maybe about 20 feet in front of me, and the doorway's probably about another 5 feet behind him. And you're going to see that. But what happened here was the whole world changed. And it wouldn't have opened if I wasn't there. Now you see the synchronicity of how Devron sets everything up, and then I got to come in using my gifts and abilities of deduction and figure out what they want me to do next. And it has to be that way because free will reigns. Even when you're a soldier like me, from heaven, my soul. Yeah. When you're a soldier, you're a soldier. So, I don't know if the guy, he must have been up there on the path watching me somehow. Maybe he had night vision binoculars. I don't know if he was government or if he was from the future, but I'm leaning on he was from the future. And he wanted to come back and witness contact with me. Witness me having contact. So I believe he did. I packed everything up. And wanted to see if I caught everything. You know, I didn't know if I did or not. I should have stayed there longer, but I mean, you know, I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is it. This is it. Oh my God, I got to rationalize all this in my head and what's going on in front of me right now, all by myself in the middle of the woods, miles back in the woods. But thank God I had my recording equipment. So what you're going to see are a number of shots of what I call the money shot in the contact video. And I do have the contact video, and I've never released it publicly. Unless I have the right format and the right foundation to let this thing out, because then all my stuff is going to come out. It has to be on a major network platform. So I just take a slide or two out, and that's what I show people. But it says a lot. So here is contact. February 10th, 1998 at 10:33:06 p.m. If you look down to the bottom left of me in the middle of the pathway, you see the Marlboro light that I just talked about. Now, he's more like 30, 40 feet from me. He's big. And behind him is the energy doorway to the multiverse. Right there. Now, my camcorder, the Sony VX1000 camcorder, got all this. The camera, again, in my hand didn't, which I find fascinating. But all right, let's go to a better shot. Did some colorization and all. A lot of people were freaking out over this. A lot of people. Now there you see, I gave it a little coloring, and what you see in front of me, right about the level of where that camera is in front of my face, you see the solid third-dimensional Endorian alien standing right there. He's got a horn on top of his head. See silver. He's got a squish face in the front, and they're really cool, and they've been with me ever since. Now behind him, about 5 feet, you see the energy doorway to the multiverse. That's the doorway that everybody's trying to find, and you can't find it unless I'm there. And you can even see that it has structure to it. 8 sides with little holes in it and stuff, and a main hole in the middle. And all that's coming off of it is energy. Really cool. Hold on. Here, I just, I put it there. There's the energy vortex behind him. And I, put a box around the alien. Now, the coolest thing about this picture is you can see the third-dimensional alien lights up from my camera flash. But the flash diffuses in the vortex multiverse doorway behind it because it's pure energy. It's not solid. But the alien is. You got to pick this stuff apart. You got to know what you're doing when you're dealing with stuff like this. Now here, just so you can get a reference, I did it years ago. I did a little thing. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the alien right there, and there's the doorway. I didn't do it to specs, but there it is behind it. And then you see the actual picture to the left. So that's what you're looking at. Now, what does that alien look like? Here, I blacked out everything around him. There he is. Horn on the front of his head. He's a lizard. A good lizard. There are good lizards and there are bad lizards. He's got that little eyes and nose and face in the front. His neck goes back and then goes down. And the light is shining off him in third dimension. That is just so cool. Contact memories. Now this one, now you can see the doorway. What I did was, the original is on the left, and what I did was I blacked out so you could see the shape, and you could see the little holes, and the hole in the middle of this thing behind the alien. That is what is called the Einstein Rosenburg bridge. It's the bridge between realities, and you're not supposed to be able to stand anywhere near it if you're human, because you will be your molecular structure will break down, and you'll just become like a lump of matter on the ground. But I stood in front of it, and nothing happened to me, and that has the government really bewildered. I didn't die. But there you go. And that's a much clearer picture of that doorway. That's the thing that everybody's always searched for and talked about. And I got it. I helped create it here in 1998. And I also created it 4,000 years ago as the Witch of Endor in Jerusalem, near the Sea of Galilee. Oh, yeah, here I just did it single so you could see again. Look at that shape back there. And looking at the original picture, you can't miss it once you know what you're looking at. And now that I was working with a triple PhD called Dr. Bruce Cornett, hand in hand out there. He was following me all over the place. And real smart dude. Real smart dude, but one of the, I guess you could say, one of the terrible stories of going to the vortex in one's life. But what the Endorians told me that they taught the the Sumerians, the Sumerians, Sanskrit, how to write. They were the first humans to know how to write, and these aliens, the Endorians, they told me, taught them. And they taught them about science and the universe. So Bruce goes back through all kinds of files, and he finds a statue from the pre-Sumerian era of what they called a pre-Suma Nagas. They called them Nagas back then, not Endorians. And he put it in the picture to match up. Here it is. Now, as I just showed you, you see the horn, you see the way the neck goes back and all of the alien, the third dimensional alien, and here's the pre-Suma Nagas with the same type of thing on top of their head, the squish face, the neck, right there. So that was a pretty good catch. That was a pretty good catch. All right. Now, I hope the people that don't know who I am got a little bit out of this. And the reason that I'm not a household word, and should have been for the last 30 years, is because I'm showing everybody what's going on behind the scenes, the truth. They don't want you to know that, but at the same time, they don't know what to do with me. And I think that's the best place for them to be. because you really don't want me to do something outside of my mission here. So I like peace. I want peace. But I hope you got something out of this. Keep an eye on the news with this World War III war thing with Biden. He's going to try to get it going, but I think Putin and these guys know, even if they did it now, they still got to deal with Trump, and then they're going to be just screwed. So I want everybody to stay prayed up, and peace out.